Mr. Gentiloni, before we talk about Italy, I want to talk to you about Europe as a whole. How fractured is this parliament going to be in the EU, given we seem to understand there's factions, right-wing, very left-wing, that actually don't have much in common?
Well, obviously, we will have a more fractured European Parliament. This will not mean that we will have an anti-European wave in European elections. I don't think so. I think we will have a vocal minority against Europe, but the only relevant countries where nationalistic parties were governing were Italy and Austria. In Austria, as we all know, this experiment failed. And in Italy, we have a strongly divided government, and I am rather confident that this division will be understood by the Italian voters next Sunday.
But, Mr. Gentiloni, when you look at the populists in Europe, have they softened their agenda in regards to Europe? It seems that they were much more bashing Europe maybe 6-7 months ago, and I don't know if they've learned lessons looking at Brexit or other, than actually now they talk about reform. Are they softer now, those populist forces, than they were 6 months ago?
For sure, they have changed their language. They're no more saying that they want to go out from EU and then want to leave the single currency. But also, for sure, they are in a nationalistic mood. The model of our Deputy Prime Minister Salvini is Viktor Orban, Hungary. This means, at the end of the day, that they changed their language, but that didn't change their anti-Europe attitude.
Because of the trade war between the US and China, how much will Italy, an exporter country, lose?
We are in a particularly difficult moment. I think we have, in general, a more vulnerable economy. What the OECD just said about Italy a few minutes ago is not something reassuring for the perspective of our economy. Obviously, we are an export-oriented country, and the tariff trade is having an influence. The German slowdown also had an influence in the last months, but sincerely, I think that the stronger influence in the stagnation that we are having in our economy is depending on the divisions and on the confusion that the present government is having in the country.
Mr. Gentiloni, is President Trump exacerbating the populism of Europe?
Well, President Trump is frequently the model, the icon for these populist parties and movement. They gathered just a few days ago in Milan in a mass meeting, and they had clearly a point of reference in President Trump and a clear enemy in Pope Francis. This was particularly strange for an Italian mass gathering to have someone very vocal against the Pope. But this is what the nationalist movement brought to our politics.
What is best for your Italy right now? What is the next step for your Italy to move forward towards a better economy and a better society?
My guess is that this government, unfortunately, is not able to give any guarantee of this kind, because we have two different parties, and we could say two different populism. One is the classical extreme right populism of Salvini. The other one is an anti-establishment populism. But the result of this merge of these two different parties is a total paralysis of any decision and a continuous fighting between these two parties. This continuous fighting is giving the wrong messages also to financial markets. Last week, for example, our Deputy Prime Minister Salvini said something about the Italian debt, and in a few hours, our yields in our bonds jumped up. The only solution, I think, is to change our government, and the only way to change the government and to have new elections.